The Podium showcases the beauty of this nation in a way to correct the ideas people have, ranging from arts and craft, culture and tourism, fashion, oil, agriculture, events, and many more. The Podium is a must-watch. It is entertaining, expository, informative, educative, and interactive. The Podium.
Redefining Africa and its beauties. Good evening and welcome to Podium International TV. Today, it's a new day. It's a different thing on Podium International TV. You are witnessing the rebirth, reloaded version of the Podium. If you're really my person, I mean someone who have been on this journey with me since 2006, you will remember what the Podium used to be, what the Podium should be like. And yes, we're back by popular demand. A lot of people have been saying, Titi, we won the Podium, go. The one that you used to bring to us, when you used to bring big people, let me speak Yoruba, where they used to bring, and when you're Janko, the people of timber and caliber. So I thought, it's been a while, but let's go there. You remember how we used to roll. So we're back with the Podium, where we bring people. It's a platform for showcasing excellence. You know what that is. And this is where we celebrate Africa and Africans, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Who do I have for us today? Well, the cat is already out of the bag. I'm sure you can see my background. For a lot of us, you know who the person is. And for some of us who might not be so much out there, you might not know. But the Yorubas will say, a well-known person, a veteran. But let me not say too much. Let me just take you into his journey before I bring him up to the stage.
Mr. Banji Ayiloge is a versatile individual whose life path encompasses the feats of journalism, politics, and activism. He was born in Ijare, Ondo State, where he had his elementary education and his secondary education at Akure and Igbarauke before attending the Nigerian Institute of Journalism in Lagos in the 70s. He embarked on his journalism career, making valuable contributions to esteemed organizations. He initially served at the Federal Ministry of Communications before joining prominent media outlets such as Daily Times Group, The New Nigerian, and later Lagos Radio Television, where he held roles as a senior reporter and editor. Motivated by an ardent desire to understand the intricacies of development, Mr. Ayiloge pursued higher education in the United States. His academic pursuits led him to the New York Institute of Technology, where he achieved a Bachelor's of Fine Art degree, BFA, in Communication Arts. His thirst for knowledge then took him to Fordham University in New York, where he earned a master's degree in International Political Economy and Development. After completing his studies, Mr. Ayiloge gained invaluable experience in the private sector and civil service in New York. Nevertheless, his commitment to his people called him back in 2002. That same year, Chief Adefarati appointed him as State Commissioner for Information in Ondo State, a role influenced by their party's recommendation. He remained in Nigeria since then, but occasionally travels abroad to tend to his businesses and be with family. During those years, he traversed the state and was a regularly featured commentator on Ondo radio and television on political and developmental issues. Also, he remained in the troubled AD party until 2010, when others moved to other parties. Also, in the same year, he became the pioneering chairman of the Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, in Ondo State, and represented the Southwest in pushing CPC to merge with other regional parties of ACN, APGA, and so on. In addition to his political endeavors, Mr. Ayiloge is a lifelong advocate for rights and activism. He served as the former National Secretary of Egbe Omo Yoruba in North America and played a pivotal role in the struggle for civil rule in Nigeria as a founding member of the Nigerian People's Forum in New York. His dedication extended to organizations like NADECO abroad, UDFN, and NALICON, all committed to restoring civilian administrations in Nigeria during the extended military regime. During his tenure as the National Secretary of Egomo Yoruba, the organization established Yoruba House in Washington, D.C., which served as headquarters for resistance against the military regime. They also launched the Yoruba radio station, Ijinle Onwomo Odua, broadcasting directly to Yoruba people in Nigeria. Mr. Ayiloge was a co-producer and co-host of the television program African People's Forum, which aired on the public access channel in the New York area. Today, Mr. Banji Ayiloge serves as the Vice Chairman of the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, YSDM, the collaborative body of Yoruba self-determination groups, creating a framework to pursue the dream of a sovereign Yoruba nation. He has not only established a framework for collaboration, but also actively engaged in advocacy efforts to raise awareness and garner support for the cause both domestically and internationally. Importantly, his emphasis on peaceful dialogue and diplomacy has maintained a non-violent stand within the movement and ensuring credibility and respect. Today, his efforts have significantly advanced the cause of achieving a sovereign Yoruba nation.
Wow, 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 wow. Let me just clap for Daddy Ayiloge. Let me bring him to the podium. Hello, Daddy. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Coach Tak.
Coach T.
Cool. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you, Daddy. How are you?
You look refreshed, and I mean, since the last time we met at the YSDM forum, is your resignation doing the trick? You look different to me now. Maybe because of that space, there is no more calling you to do certain things within the next few minutes and giving it to us. Anyway, that's a compliment. I like.
Thank you so much, Daddy. I've had time to rest, revamp, and everything, and just recalibrate. I've had time to recalibrate.
That's
Thank
good.
you, Daddy.
We thank God.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay. I can't complain.
That's some profile, Daddy. That's some profile. And we even had to edit. We had to take some down just so that we're not sitting here all day listening to just profile and not have the chance to speak to you.
Thank you. You did your research, and I mean, it's excellent. It's an excellent work. I didn't know that you guys have such a very deep research background, and you're able to research into. I must be very careful, though, what I would do henceforth.
Yes, Daddy, because we'll dig it out. Thank you. I can't even take the credit for that. I'm blessed with a fantastic team.
Okay.
My team did a very good job, and thanks to Dotun, Rashid, and all of them, they did it. And they love you. Anything that concerns Daddy Ayiloge, they are happy to do. They love you.
I know. You have a very good, fantastic team there. I interacted. I remember when they interviewed me for one of your events, private events. Everybody was just like hanging on to everything I said.
Looking up to you.
Okay.
Seriously looking up to you. I'm looking up to you.
I would like to do more of that, though, so that we can pass the little we know, pass it down to the next generation. That's all I'm doing now.
We will bring you on. Definitely, I'm happy to do that. So thank you, Daddy. Today, can you tell us a little bit more, or is that everything that we need to know? Because I know there's more to you than that.
I'm a very modest person when it comes to my person. That's why I said what you did was like the first time when you mentioned some of those things, I said, "Oh, did I?" Yeah, I remember doing that. One of the things I like to highlight also is that it's not just business or all that. I've been an activist since 1990, and I have touched on everything that can lift our society up. I've touched them from, you know, joining hand with others to see to civil rule. I incidentally watched Atiku Abubakar's taped interview shortly before coming here and says he was in the struggle for civil rule. I don't know where. Most of these people, everybody now with the kind of with civil rules now coming up, people want to take credit. You know, you have credit from so many places now that you wonder how many of us were really, really involved in that struggle. People who sat in their houses couldn't even when Abacha was there, all of a sudden now were engaged in civil rule. That is the Nigerian experience. But I must tell you that between the resolution to join NADECO was passed by my organization, the Nigerian People's Forum, only a few days after General, what's his name? General, the head of state, the military president then, what's his name? What's the name of the military president then that won the election? Babangida.
Okay.
Babangida, yeah, I remember now. But when Babangida, the second or third week after he had won the election, they passed a resolution that we must actually fight this and cooperate with others to fight it to the end. We were brimming with nationalism, that it shouldn't happen. That was despite the fact that we were not even supporting Abiola to that election. And we stayed the course to the end of it. And since then, we've been in the process of seeing to the betterment of the country. And I've been with the NADECO abroad, for instance. It used to be that when most of our personalities escaped from Nigeria, my name and number was given to them. But when you get to New York, call Banji Ayiloge, call Banji Ayiloge, and I will respond. And I'll give you a notable example. There was a time that Paula Yomi was a journalist at that time, and I think exposed some of the things that the Bashar regime was doing. They issued a directive that it should be shot at sight.
Wow.
And so Dapo managed to land in New York City. That was the middle of the winter. Cold everywhere. Dapo had t-shirt and a bathroom slippers when I picked him up at the airport.
Wow.
And of course, the next place I drove Dapo to, a very meek person, even up to now when he meets and I know he remembers. The first place I drove him to was to the clothing store to clothe him properly for the winter.
Wow.
These are I'm living in all these things. I also remember the current president of Nigeria now, President Bola Tinubu, actually reached out to me from London in December 24, 1990. I think it was 1995. It was the Christmas Eve, the first call, introducing himself that he would like to meet me in New York. And we met separately in New York. And we did all these things.
Thank you, Daddy.
Yeah. So, there are so many things I can say. Like I said, it keeps popping up into my head. But let's go on. You don't want to hear more about me. We'll be here all day.
Thank you very much, Daddy. It's funny you mentioned the current president of Nigeria. That is President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. There's a lot going on right now. The CSU certificates, Atiku Abubakar, even Obi, everybody, everything is all over the place right now. What's your take? In a few words, what's your take on that?
Well, it's not surprising to me. I've always said that Nigeria is not a nation. And you have a conglomeration of people trying to capture power for their own selfish end. Nobody is talking about the national interest. They might go into the election talking about national interest, but actually what everybody has been doing is people capturing power for themselves and for their immediate surroundings or immediate clan. And so when you lose an election, the tendency is for you to fight to the hilt. It doesn't matter how you get there. All you need to know or do is to fight to be able to get your hands into the loot. Now, look at some of these things that are happening here. In other nations, nobody would like to bring their dirty linens out of the country to allow other people to ridicule their leader. When you rubbish your leader, that the people around the world are going to look at you through that dirty prison. The dirty prison of look at their leader. And it will be different also if, for instance, what you are saying is true. When is this going to end? You went to court. Atiku Abubakar went to court and said, the certificate President Tinubu is having is not genuine. The school came back to say it is genuine. And we have people saying that this is the same person. Now, they said the lower school, I've forgotten his name, Roundabout, came out with a female actually was the student there. They came out to say this was a clerical error. Now you're still going around and say, oh, it was a woman, it was all that. Nothing of facts. As a matter of fact, like I said, I watched Atiku Abubakar's so-called press conference. It was nothing but just full of errors. Even the most appalling thing was Kalu, the lawyer. He was just playing on emotions. Emotion doesn't win any case. The question is, can somebody forge a certificate that he has? I guess you forge something and make it, for instance, if I have a driver's license, right? I have this driver's license in my hand. Can I forge it? I have the same information on it. It doesn't make sense. You only forge what you don't have. I'm going to say, well, the funds and all that. And then you say you're taking this to the Supreme Court. There is no case. And what I'm saying is they have actually ridiculed the whole country in their quest to acquire power. It's no longer about Bola Tinubu or anybody anymore. It is about ridiculing Nigeria. And that is how I think everybody should look at it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I was just going to say that. I was going to ask, do you still think, well, you've answered part of the question. Like, I was going to say, do you still think this is about the genuinity of the certificate or his qualification or his ability to rule? Or do you think it's becoming a tribal issue?
That's it. That's what I'm saying. Look, I've always for the last 10 years, I have been saying that what you have in Nigeria is a crisis of it's not a national crisis, but a crisis of nationality. National crisis, if it's a national crisis, we will have been able to gather together and solve it. But we have a crisis of nationality. That is, we have so many nationalities in Nigeria, and everybody is trying to go to the center to go and take the money home. And now it is a do or die affair to some of them. Atiku is 78 now. He figured out, if I don't capture this power by now, that is the end. So this is an end game with him. But is in the end game that he's playing, he's actually ridiculing the whole country. People are going to look at, and you left the Nigerian scene and came to the US. Now, after this case, a sane person should go home. Look at when Agor had almost, majority of the votes coming on to the presidency in America. He stopped litigation and said, that's the end of it. Let's support the incoming president, and I don't want to be seen as a third world country. The same thing, the Hillary Clinton had almost 3 million votes, more votes than Trump. Yet these people looked at the national interest. Whose interest is Atiku Abubakar, protecting?
Personal interest.
His own personal interest. It's not even his own personal. If you have a genuine case, the court of law in Nigeria should have taken it out. What now? If you are now saying, well, for what? You said this man had no certificate. The court has now said, the institution has now under oath said, look, this is the man that was issued this certificate. That should have been the end of the case.
With photographs.
Everything. With deposition. I went through the deposition and I combed through it. And I just feel, for the sake of the country, somebody should sit down and say, well, look, we thought we had this case, let's rest it and let's go back. If there are about 200 million Nigerians, all of us can be president. Some of us, we have to leave this world without being president, or it's not compulsory. What I think should happen is for everybody to say, well, look, we have this president. Let's make sure that he's able to do the business of the people, to make sure people are dying of starvation and hunger. People are dying, or people are committing suicide. Let's even look at Atiku. If we take Atiku Abubakar's, let me say Vice President Atiku Abubakar, if we take a microscope, it doesn't need a micro. If we just take a reading glass and look at his profile and look at his employment record, we can come up with so many things.
Yeah.
Yet nobody is saying that he became the vice president of the country and served. And even despite what Obasanjo said and all that, nobody is taking it against it. Jesus Christ once told some crowd of people that he who has no sin, let him cast the first stone. Actually, Atiku can't cast any stone anyway. When you look at it, he's the least person. All these, what my own, what makes me happy, and we've been besieged with all these questions, is that finally we know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually attended university here, which I've never doubted. I've interacted with him for decades. And he doesn't come across as somebody who doesn't know what he's doing. He would debate economics with you, debate politics with you, and I've done that several times. So it's not about is he going to be able to govern? And that's the point I'm making. It's not about, is he knowledgeable enough to be president? No, that's not what I think. That's not the issue. As a matter of fact, given the chance, I believe this man will actually be the first person that is elected and has been preparing for this position for as long as he was an adult. And so he has an idea what a government should look like.
Thank
My
you,
own
Daddy.
criticism of him is that he should, like we told Babaola too, loud at his side, and it's still there. When you look at it, they should devote more in building the Yoruba nation, not waste the efforts on the Nigerian on Nigeria is looking like a wasted effort, just like we said to Shifu Abafemi Awolowo, because I don't know, several months, almost 7 months after taking office, somebody is still going there. Oh, of course, he has a right to go to court and find out if. But once you find out that this certificate was issued to this man, and these two schools are saying that the first one said that was the female thing that you're saying is a clerical error. That should have been it's a clerical error. And look, Bola, my first child is Bola. We call her Bola. Bola everywhere. And the tendency for somebody to say, that's a girl's name. But another friend of mine is Bola too, and is a man. And so the mix-up, especially in an American setting, where it's not Nigeria. If you look at the second name, if it's Ahmed, you probably say, that's not a girl's name. But if it's Bola A. Tinubu, this tendency for somebody, it's a female. I've been called a female before in this country also, because my name is Banji Ayiloge. They don't know whether it is a male or female until I get on I'm sorry, it's a man. So these are the kind of things that shouldn't concern people in states. I mean, we should be discussing a matter of state. How to develop our people, how to solve the intractable problem of fuel shortages and rising inflation, and those should be the cross of what people in government should be discussing by now, not whether Bola Ahmed Tinubu went to school. Of course, we know he went to school.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daddy. So at least that's something that's clear now. Even Dr. Ruben Abati said it today. No, not today, yesterday. That even if you go to Supreme Court, you're coming back with zero. Because number one, you have not even presented, you did not even present the evidence before. You are just adding things onto the case that you did not package originally. So that's that. So, let me leave Nigerian politics quickly and go to Uganda. There's a story that's making rounds today. Apparently, this person, I mentioned it to you earlier, Daddy.
Okay.
This person gave her constituency. Let's just listen quickly because we're running out of time.
Welcome to Podium International TV, where we bring you stories that leave a mark. Today, we delve into a tale that has captured the attention of an entire continent. It is a story of twists, turns, and ethical dilemmas that challenge our understanding of political leadership. In a shocking turn of events, Ugandan politician Evelyn Anit, a prominent figure in Ugandan politics, finds herself at the center of a storm, an election loss which set off a series of events that have ignited debates and discussions far and wide. What's the buzz? When, brace yourself as we reveal that Anit decided to take back an ambulance she had generously donated to her district during her tenure as an elected official. Yes, you heard it right, an ambulance. This decision has sent shockwaves across Africa, leaving many pondering the ethics of such a move. Why would she do this? What's her reasoning? And what do people think? Anit didn't shy away from addressing the matter. In a candid social media statement, she boldly proclaimed, "First, it is true I took back my ambulance, and I have no apologies for that. But why?" Anit justified her actions by pointing to the fact that her constituents didn't support her in the election. She cited Galatians chapter 6 verse 7, invoking the biblical concept of reaping what one sows, to explain her perspective. She also shared her emotional journey discussing her private sector involvement and the toll of electoral defeat. Anit painted a picture of a politician facing the hardship of a loss that perhaps only she could truly understand. This decision has sparked a wildfire of reactions. Prominent social media personalities like Dr. Bell expressed disappointment, questioning Anit's commitment to her constituent. Another user, Basil, criticized her for entitlement, while Moses called for respecting the choices of the electorate. The story of Evelyn Anit and the ambulance she took back has ignited crucial conversation about the responsibilities and ethics of political leaders. This is especially in the aftermath of electoral defeat. It is a tale of choices and consequences that will shape the future of Anit's political career and public perception. So, as we follow this unfolding drama, we invite you to ponder the question: what do we expect from our leaders, and what does this incident reveal about the complex world of politics? Thank you for listening.
First of all, I want to congratulate those people for not voting for that woman to come. They made the right decision. See, I mean, that's number one. Number two, if I were in that consistency, there's no way she will be giving that ambulance back. A gift is a gift. When you gave it to them, you said it was a gift. You didn't say, well, if I didn't win, I'm going to come in, get it back. If we go to court of law, there's no way they can return it to her. And that kind of woman, there are so many of that kind of a woman all over Africa. Because we condone everything, we condone all these acts in our leadership. And because of that, there seem not to be any repercussions. Somebody should take it up and go to court and compare. I don't even know how he's able to take it from them anyway. If in my consistency,
it's Africa, Daddy.
Even in Africa, in Nigeria, you gave my consistency that I will put the key to that ambulance under my mattress. There is no way you can reach it. But the point is, there are courts. If those people take her to court, they will be able to retrieve that. Once you give a gift, it wasn't conditional. Now, let's go to the other side of it. You are not promising to do better when you get there. You're not giving a very good manifesto, but you're giving an ambulance with the hope that this is an investment. And once I give you this ambulance, you should vote for me. That's what it's saying. There should be a law against bribing people.
Bribery. Inducement.
And this is the kind of things that we should be talking about throughout Africa, so that we can be able to, what is happening is that the people who should actually head the reforms are the people that are manipulating the system. So rather than our system progressing and becoming more and more pragmatic and all that, they are looking at ways to sabotage the system and make it work for those who are there. That is the problem we're having in Africa. All over the world, when you are a supervisor or you are head of an outfit, you look at what has been happening before, what has been wrong with the system, and you try your possible best to improve on things. But in our own case, you take a look at what you meet, you perfect what has been working for the individuals, you perfect it for yourself. That is how you are going to be able to manipulate the system. And then you move from there and discover other ways to even reach deeper into the system. That is not the way things should be. And that is the problem in Africa as a whole. Like I said, I congratulate those people for not sending
voting about.
office. And in fact, it should not be allowed to be an elected person in government for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
So
That's
that
what I think.
we know why you are going. Let me give you a personal example. I remember when I returned home and I said I wanted to contest for the Senate. People said, well, you go and sell your house in America and take the money to go. I said, no, not any chance. So if I sell my house, then come back and distribute it to all of you. What if
I don't win?
I don't win? Even if I win, how my house at that time was a sizable amount of money. Even if I win, am I going there to make money? Are they not paying salary? Of course, they said there are money to be made. I wasn't prepared to make money out of what I wasn't given. And so it looks dumb now when you look at my action that no. There's no way I'm going to do that. But I returned back to that house after a short-lived political career. So those are the things that we should think about. We should think about our life. Our life should not be that anything is do or die. That, I have to be there. Zero-sum politics, that's what they call zero-sum politics. You put everything you have until you have nothing. So losing is a problem. That's one of the reasons. That's why somebody can actually follow another candidate out of the continent to 6,000 or 7,000 miles away to be filing that the degree that person has is questionable. Even when he's been told severally that the degree awarded to this man was awarded to a man, to the same man, he is still finding it difficult. He's still finding a way to be able to press up.
They also said the classmates that came up to say,
right.
Yes, we were in the same class. Actually, attended the same university.
There are things done. Look, let me say this. There are things done in the name of national interest that when you look at it, it is just personal interest that that person is looking into. It's not about national interest. If it is national interest, the moment the tribunal says it, you wait for the Supreme Court decision. And the Supreme Court, they are full of intelligent people who could look at, did you not say that this is a forged document?
Yeah.
I mean, could I have forged the certificate given to me by Fordham University when in actual fact I passed out of the place? Those are questions. Those are genuine questions that it's a question of law. Do you forge what you already have? Is it possible to forge your birth certificate that you already have? Is it possible to forge a driver's license that is in that actually the authorities have a copy of?
No, sir. No, you can't. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I have one more topic to visit. I was going to leave it till next week, but then I thought let's address this. Since I have you here, I'm not going to, I might not get the opportunity to have you again very soon. It was in the news today that the Ooni of Ife, Aboyade-Cole, signed an MOU with a Chinese company for agriculture.
Okay.
They sold some land, or they gave, I don't know. I don't have all the details. But they said the primary goal of this MOU is to create 50,000 jobs for indigenous people of Nigeria. My question here is, I was even concerned a couple of weeks ago when I heard that Southeasterners, a lot of Igbo people, have they're starting to acquire farmland in Yoruba land, It's okay. It's okay to do business anywhere you want. But what's the purpose? My own is, what's the purpose of that purchase? Because after the elections, 2023 elections, they started saying, let's start regrouping, let's start bringing our people down to prepare for the next election. I hope that's not part of why they are acquiring so much agricultural land. And I also found out that not some of them, a lot of them have started building residential properties on these farmlands. So what's the government doing about that? If they are not doing anything so far, they need to start looking at doing something to make sure that we're safe. And when I say we, as in people are not actually buying it for the wrong reasons. So the other one is, now that the Oni has now gone beyond even Nigerians, selling our farmlands to Chinese people, what does that mean for the Yoruba people? That MOU that's saying they're creating 50,000 jobs. So you can imagine the amount, the size of the land.
Well, most of the time when they come up with all these, is something is going to create 50,000 jobs. Those are just the population thing. They want the people to hear, and they will say, "Oh yeah, it's creating jobs." My concern is selling. The Southwest is not so. It's not that big to the extent that you want to sell uh, to all these people you are mentioning, without the indigenous population suffering one thing or the other. Now, I want to be able to know whether this land was sold to the Chinese or it was leased to them to farm on. I mean, there are two different things. If you can lease, if you lease, there will be a terminal date for it. Now, what kind of job are we talking about in this farming? Would there be laborers who are going to be involved in very menial jobs in the farms? One of the things that I noticed when I was in Nigeria is that even when you go into the ministries or you go into all these places to look for contracts or people, already have this in their brain that uh, the indigenous people can be trusted or they can do the job. So a Filipino can walk into anywhere in Nigeria and walk away with millions of contracts, where the natives, the more qualified engineers or reputable business people who went to one of the nicest or the universities in the world, will not be so engaged. That is what is happening. But to be able to comment on what the Oni did, I need to know the terms. If it is leasing, if he's going to be the owner of the farm, or there is a conglomerate of owners. I know about the indigenization decree also from I think it was 1970. There are certain things or certain economic activities that you have to engage the indigens or the Nigerians in that process. Now let's go to the Igbos buying up land. Well, I really can understand the average Igbo person thinking. What is their thinking? Are they thinking that they can buy the whole of the Southwest and make it their homeland? Or are they thinking that the more of these people that they import will create a situation where they take over the governance of Southwest? These are things that we need, the indigenes of this area need to think about. Now, if you buy a land for farming and you start building uh, residential properties on those lands, there is a need for people to question you, because you are not actually utilizing that land for what it was zoned for. We should start zoning some of these areas so that we can effectively manage what goes on. Now, if what you are saying is true, is a step further than what the Fulanis were doing. The Fulanis would leave Futajalo, they would lose all those places and come to our forest and just look at a very thick middle of nowhere, set up their camps there, and they start living there. But we shouted and cried and tried to evict them. But these people want to go, buying and then converting them. The final result is the same. They want to be able to occupy that land and displace whoever is there. And that is where a representation to the current governors should actually take place. We should be able to tell them that, look, if you were not zoning before, you should be zoning. It's not just in the farms. This has happened since the Jonathan era. The people from the South and the Southeast, they came to a lot of money during the time Jonathan was there. And what you were seeing are people coming to Ikoyi or Victoria Island, they will buy a one family house, tear it down, and put a skyscraper there and start taking dollars. And that's why you have a lot of Ikoyi and the other areas congested. It wasn't that congested before. We must now reach out to those in power. That's one of the reasons I said, look, from now on, we must ensure that we don't go those of us in the Southwest, we do not go to the soccer game with our fifth 11. We go with the most brilliant. But unfortunately, some of our very able first 11 are leaving home to seek greener pastures in other lands where all these things are taking place. The people there we are leaving things to only care about themselves, how to empower themselves, thinking, which is, I don't understand, thinking that by acquiring so much, they will leave some to their children. But guess what? Your children will have to deal with the same thing. If you think by amassing wealth now and thinking that, well, you are leaving wealth for your children, all these things will have no meaning when they become minorities in their places of birth. And so we should let them know, we should educate them, and also ensure that those who will be leaving us are credible people of intellect, people who are pragmatic enough to be able to see what will be in the general interest of our people.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daddy. Today, I attended an event, the Nigerian Diaspora Direct Investment Summit. At the summit, I met with Dr. Folashade Yemi Esun, the head of civil service. And I picked something from her. She was the keynote speaker at today's event. Abike Dabiri was there as well. And I picked something from what this woman said. I'm trying to buttress what you have just said. She said, every time, if you want to know what's going on back home, go to the airports and check out how many foreigners are going to Nigeria on a daily basis. How many people are investing in Nigeria? And who are the people who are investing in Nigeria? She said, sit back and think. What are they trying to let us think about our country? They will say there's security is bad, roads. Yes, we agree. However, if the country is so bad, why do we have Indians all the time relocating to Nigeria? Chinese companies relocating to Nigeria.
I'll tell you why.
Is it that they are seeing something we are not seeing?
No.
Okay.
You see, look, my friend, I just told you
that they will not respect
the psyche of the Nigerian people, and I think this is why they're doing so. They can cut those people they don't have any they don't have anything to lose when they cut any deal with anybody. If something is going to cost us 20 billion and somebody says make it 40, we'll pay you, you return the 20 to me. If that's the way you're going to do it, they don't care. And besides, they can come out later on to say this is the kind of deal we did with him 20 years or 30 years or 10 years or 5 years ago. And so if you go to the ministry, you are an engineer, but a technician from India shows up for a contract, they are likely to deal with him. That's one of the things I don't know. Those are the things that I didn't know before. And I'm telling you, they will ignore you. If an Igbo man is there and you are a person from the Southwest, a Yoruba person, and there is no Igbo man, even if there is an Igbo man, he prefers to go with that. That is the kind of society we have. And these people are playing in now to say, well, don't forget, I went to Nigeria for 11 years from here. And these are the experience that I'm telling you. Right now, if you go in to Nigeria and your area of expertise and you want to serve, you want a contract to do something, it is the same people who are employed or who are political leaders in some of those established, they are the same people carrying out the contracts. They are the only people. They may not be the one. They have shell companies doing it. They have associates doing it. And so when the India or the Filipinos or the foreigners that you are talking about, they quickly call them and say, this is what we want. Those people play ball. Look, I've been told by a Filipino that I was stupid to have left Nigeria to come to the States because there are millions of money. And he told me all the millions they made when they were there. And these people will rather deal with those foreigners. After they take the money out and put their own court in a foreign account. And so nobody hears about that anymore. You see, our orientation, let the Dabiris and the Folashades continue to delude themselves by thinking that it is because Nigeria is such a fertile ground for development. That's why those people are. No, those people are there to take a court to represent the interests of those of them who are milking the country. And they figure out their secrets are much more, kept with those foreigners because they're going to take the money and go out. They are also going to take the money and help them to lodge them in foreign accounts. Those are the reasons. It's not because, well, Nigeria is such a fertile ground. So if Nigeria is such a fertile ground, why are our people dashing out of the country?
That's what I'm trying to understand.
No. I just want you to see the other side. Is it because they are brainless? Well, the UK has an overpopulation of Nigerian doctors, Nigerian engineers, and everybody. Everybody is running away from there. Only these foreigners, because they have discovered that we would rather deal with foreigners, those of them who are embezzling money in the ministries and all those things. They would rather deal with foreigners than deal with ourselves. It is not, that is the cause. Let them make these Indians are returning. Indians are returning because they don't have any stake. If they have $2 billion contract for something that should normally cost less than 1 billion, and somebody said, look, we share the rest of the 5 billion and you help us to lodge our own in New York or in London or in Dubai, or they don't have any qualms. And the person giving them that sweetheart deal knows that once the deal is completed and you get your own share, he's not somebody that is going to be hunting you again. If Banji Ayiloge can still contest against you, he may spill it.
Thank you, sir.
So this is not, look, don't let them deceive you. Let them do the right thing. In those days, at least up to 2003, most of the government, I remember, was in Ondo State government. The PDP, which I was in AD, the people in PDP got some contracts from us in government. Or they will go out there and put the tender out there and publish the tender, and they will go out and we don't want to know whether you are PDP or AD or you can do that. And now that's shrunk to party members. Now it's not even party members now. It is the same political office holders. I know what I'm talking about. I frequent the place and I come and go, and I've also observe what is going on. It is the same political office holders and the civil servants. They have all these network of friends and all that they give contracts to. That, never mind that they publish it. So these are the things, and their priorities are given to Indians and foreigners because those foreigners are going to help them move the money out of the system and move it abroad.
Okay, Daddy. Thank you, sir. So what can we do? We know the problem. We've identified the problem. Someone said, MB said, those in the Southwest are moving to Western countries, while others are moving to take over and gradually take over our ancestral land and are being taken over.
This is where President Tinubu has a role to play. One, I've given you the scenarios at least since Jonathan. People got filthy rich from that region, from his area. Look at the period of Buhari. Buhari actually surpassed Jonathan in the kind of filth and embezzlement. People now were embezzling billions. We are not even asking that. Let's even leave the embezzlement of billions. Now, let's even go to the policies that was, followed during Buhari's administration. He concentrated developments in the north, particularly in Katsina. There is no federal agency that doesn't have something in Katsina today, from the army to anything. Even the Navy has an headquarters of reach there. Now, we have the train station going to Niger. We don't have a functioning refinery, but we built one in Niger. Some are even saying that it was a personal thing, but it was built with the Nigerian money. Now, those are things. Those are government expenditure. Even international aids. The government actually told the international donors that every aid coming to Nigeria must be directed to the north. Those are in dollar. I'm not making this up. This is in public domain. But we all kept mute and we were looking. Nobody said anything. Even his party members didn't say anything. That, look, you are shortchanging the rest of the country. However, let me also tell you that, to tie it up with what I said before, that one, we have a crisis of nationality. Everybody so far have never looked at the country as their own country. They have not looked at anything going on, around us as a national problem. And because of that, we have a crisis within the nations making up Nigeria, the Yoruba nation, the Ijaw nation, the Igbo nation. Everybody,
Arewa.
right, Arewa nation or the Fulani nation, these are all nations of their own. These are ethnic, they are ethnic nationalities. They are not working with each other to forge a nation. And so when they get into government, they take care of themselves, then they take care of their immediate family, they take care of their clan, they take care of their local government, the state, the region. Then by the time they take all of it, there's something left, you can throw it to somewhere, you don't care. This has been going on. Now, the situation in the Southwest is so there. We've been in the opposition for most of the 63 or 60 something years of Nigeria's existence or post-independent. Now, the only time we could have said we benefited from the leadership was when Obasanjo was there, but we now realize that Obasanjo was more of an Igbo person than being a Yoruba, because look at all the people he brought into power. Kojo Ewela and Soludo. You can mention them. You can't even mention those in government with Obasanjo using your one hand in Yoruba land. But you have all these people. And so the Yorubas concentrated. We've always been industrious. We concentrated on commerce and all that. We train our children. And now the children are out there. Most of them, after university education, they don't have anything to do. After being in the great professions, they don't have anything to do. The next thing is for you to struggle to find a way, an outlet for their intellect abroad, because there is nothing at home. Somebody with a medical degree, what do you want him to do? Go to China and to go and import solar panels so he can make a living? These are the things. And now, when you complement this with the fact that all the roads in the Southwest are impassable, or they have failed, they have. There's no road. The hospitals are in shambles. There are so many things.
Okay.
Now, when you now say the foreigners are coming, the foreigners that are coming, they come, they acquire, they can, if they have to leave the country for medical care, they have the resources to do that. A guy in Chicago who has been earning a living from that place comes to Nigeria. He for instance, set up a farm, or actually set up a consulting industry or construction industry. He has enough money to live for about 6 or 1 year. I've done this before. And he roams around the government offices. The government is the only, they are the viable people giving contracts and things like that. He's not able to do that. He comes back to Chicago broke as ever to start again. Those who went and set up farms, remember the guy that was killed in Igboho land? He left a teaching job there, take all his resources, and came home to set up a farm. He was macheted mercilessly. No, his killer has not been found today. So when I say President Tinubu has a lot to do, he has to replicate what Buhari did in the north, what Jonathan did with his people. He has to replicate that with us in the southwest so that we are not losing out. We have to have good roads. We have to, just like Buhari ensured that the north did, we have to have the infrastructures that were depleted out of neglect. We have to have all these things. Now, it's not too much to ask for. Majority of what Nigeria uses in terms of revenue comes from outside of the country. But we are worse off when you compare with others. How much is being paid to the cover of the federal government through the operation of the ports in Lagos? How much is being paid with the VAT in the whole of Southwest compared to others, or juxtapose that with what others pay? These are our money. These are money that our region should have been benefiting from, but we have not been able to because the federal government has been mopping them up and put it in the federal purse and then redistributing them unfairly to the states.
Okay.
That's why now our son is there now. He should do what others have been doing. There is no excuse this time. He should do. I mean, it seems to be the normal way of doing things in Nigeria. That when you get there, you benefit your people, and the rest. As a matter of fact, that's why we have rotational presidency. You have somebody from the north who did that. Now somebody from the southwest is doing it. When we should take advantage of that. That is the one Ishelu. I mean, Daluni Ishelu. Is the way the country has been organized.
Won't he be guilty of what we were accusing Buhari?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking him to be guilty of. At least we will be able to receive him. Look, it's not a laughing matter. If we went through 16 years, or even not even 16, 30 something years of PDP, we were not in PDP. The government of the day didn't care for us. For 16 years of PDP, the Southwest was going down.
Before PDP, Daddy. Before PDP, there was.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Even since independence. Look, let me say this. Even during the Abacha, even before Abacha, when Awolowo was there, we were in the opposition. And so most things were being done. Look, this is what I'm telling you. If we are in a very fair society, we wouldn't get to that point, and perhaps I wouldn't argue that. But we are not Wani Yobani Idaluni Ishelu. It is the way the country is constructed. It's the way we were put together. We are put together, and our politics and everything we do is okay. Why do you think we have rotational presidency now? Where you do it in the north, it goes to the south. Because we seem to have assumed that once it's your turn, you take care. Only Obasanjo didn't do that, and Obasanjo didn't do anything for the Southwest because he said he's not a Southwest. He said he's not a Yoruba president, but the president is Mr. Nigeria. And so much so that he had to stay in traffic. The way to his own even hometown is impossible. But the point is that that's not a normal thing to do when you're looking at Nigeria. Look at the chunk of people that welcome Buhari back to Daura when he ended his administration.
Yeah.
How many people welcomed what's our vice chairman's vice president named Osinbajo? How many? He came in with his tail, talking his tail and his this thing. Nobody. Because we didn't even have any impact that he was there.
Okay.
And now I am advising President Tinubu not to do what either Osinbajo or Obasanjo did. We should be able to feel the impact of his presidency, not only in Lagos, but throughout the Yoruba land. That is when we will be proud of him.
There's a question here, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Right.
There's a question here that says, what advice do you have for the Southwest governors regarding the region's development?
Well, I know the Southwest governors are meeting, but what they discuss in their meetings, I don't know. But the advice I have for them is that they should have an integrated development plan. Nothing stops us from being the region that we've been. We know that there is no what one or to bauju lombamu. If Lagos is in trouble, the rest of us are in trouble. If Ondo State is in trouble, the rest of Yoruba land is in trouble. And so we should have an integrated plan. Now, what do I mean by integrated plan? For instance, all the major roads that they call federal roads, all those roads are bad. And then it's, it's federal road, the only federal, where are the state roads? Why can't we have state roads? Do you know that in the United States that I'm speaking from, we have federal roads, we have state roads, we have county roads. Counties are the same thing as local government. Then we have township roads that are maintained by those entities separately. So if the federal road is bad, we should be able to take state roads. And I've advocated this for almost 20-something years. Nobody listens. Why can't Ekiti State take an alternative road from Ekiti to the boundary of Ondo? Ondo should take it from there to the boundary of Osun. Osun should take it from there to the boundary of Oyo. Oyo should take it there from to the boundary of Ogun. Ogun should take it to Lagos. We will have all these things. If the roads are impassable, we know that's federal road. But what you have is the kind of situation we have that we've been saying that is not healthy. The federal government mops up all the revenue from the states, dole out the PTNs to the rest of us, and the governors don't even know what to do with it. They just sat there and thinking that they don't have responsibilities. Some of them have almost 700 million naira as security
votes
votes
every month.
Every month. That's not healthy, and nobody is talking about all these things. We all go there to take money. I mean, those of them in Nigeria, they go there, they hand them over, they give you 10,000, 20,000, or 100,000 naira. You say, governor here, oh shit, dada. But it's not. When they spend state money on those frivolities, they are not serving you. What can actually lift the whole of us, the rest of us, is when the money is properly spent for community development. We must know that. And until we know that, we tell them this is what we want to do. If somebody steals your money for 4 years and there's nothing to show for it, and now during the election it brings out millions, and this, you should know really that you shouldn't actually give that person. Like I said earlier on, the lady that wanted her ambulance back, you should just vote against that person and make sure that somebody that is much more receptive or much more able to bring out development to the people who are voted in. There are a lot of them around, especially those of them that have foreign background. I'm not saying that. There is a reason for saying that, because when people come from Nigeria, for instance, or developed developing worlds and we take them around and tell them this is how this works, they are amazed. In which case, they are unlike their Nigerian counterparts. Somebody who came from Owo and went to University of Ife and then returned to Ibadan to practice law. What does he know about the international thing? He thinks that that's the best way.
The world revolves around.
The world revolves around the governor. The world doesn't revolve around the governor. The governors everywhere in the U.S. can call you at home. Come on, there is no this obsequious relationship.
Thank you very much, sir. I wish we could just treat all of this into more details, but unfortunately, we run out of time now. In fact, we've gone twice the time allocated for. We've covered twice the time allocated for this show, but it's been wonderful having you as always. You've got the wealth of knowledge that we require, and I'm sure that we can always reach out to you to discuss issues, especially national issues like this.
I'm at your service.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And to everyone that's joined us tonight, thank you very much for joining us. JD, Mandy, Monique, Sister Monique Kade, all of you, only 2 likes. You need to like the show, or you don't like the show. If you do like the show, give us a thumbs up. Send us some hearts. Share the show. Comment. Zainab, thank you. Sister Tayo Nodeko, thank you. Shamsuddin Oladipupo. Shamsuddin Oladipupo has been greeting you, Daddy. Baba, Ekweto, Koniba. And who else do we have here? Oh, Sister Augustina Adekpoju. Koiki Media joined us as well. Thank you very much, Koiki Media, for the thumbs up, for the sharing. I saw him. He said thumbs up and share. He's telling people to share. My mommy Mojisola Johnson, thank you for joining. Rashid Isa Abubakar, Dr. Ogunbile, those are my guys, my people. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you for staying with us till the end of the show. There's a segment that we did not. There are 2 segments that we didn't cover today. Hopefully, we'll cover them next week. It's the event segment and the business segment. So this is to announce to you that for the next 12 weeks, it's going to be free. You can send in your business profile. We will share it. The joy of things like this is when you can tap into my own network and I can tap into yours. So you share the program, we share your business profile. So you can send in your business profile for the next 12 weeks. It's going to be free. Whatever you do, send it in. We will pick maybe 1 or 2 to share with our viewers. And hopefully it will impact you positively as well. And then if you're having an event or you've had an event and you want us to mention it in 1 minute, for the next 12 weeks, as I said, that's also going to be free. To support us, we will share how you can do that from next week moving forward, because journalism, as you all know, is expensive. It's not cheap. To bring quality programs, we have a whole lot of people working with us. Behind Podium International, behind me, I have about 19 people. I used to have 15. We're now about 19 people working there. I have about 5 people in the newsroom, 4 or 5. In the newsroom, we have people, we have a graphic designer, we have different people, we have researchers, we have everything. So to support the journey, you can always support the journey voluntarily. Let me know if you're interested in supporting the journey. But whether you support the journey or you don't support the journey, we love you all the same. The fact that you're spending your time with us, it goes a long way for us. All we want from you is like, share, send in topics of interest that you want us to discuss. And we'll always bring intelligent people who are intellectually sound and they can treat the issues on ground. So this is it from me and the entire members of Podium International team. We say thank you very much. God bless you. We'll see you same place, same time next week. That's every Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. UK time. We thank our father in the house, that the Banji Ayiloge. God bless you, sir. We hope to see you soon. So, guys, see you next week. Love you.
The Podium. The Podium showcases the beauty of this nation in a way to correct the ideas people have, ranging from arts and craft, culture and tourism, fashion, oil, agriculture, events, and many more. The Podium is a must-watch. It is entertaining, expository, informative, educating, and interactive. The Podium.
Redefining Africa and its beauties.